ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לספרי בינה להבחין בין יום ובין לילה.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בצלמו.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בת חורים.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני ישראל.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, לוקח עברים.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, מלביש ערומים.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, מתיר אסורים.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, זוכר כתובים.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, לוקח הארץ על המים.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשה לי כל צרכי.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר הכין מצעדי גבר.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוזר ישראל בתפארה.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוטה ישראל בתפארה.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, הנותן היה את כוח.
Amen. You may be seated. Nice start to the morning. Just thanking God for all the things that we have in our life. The fact that our legs work this morning. The fact that our eyes opened this morning. Just these little blessings. Just say 100 blessings a day. Thank God for 100 things a day. And some people go, that's too many. Until you start thinking about all these tiny miracles in your life. And all this book is doing is giving us a language to say thank you for all of these amazing little things that we take for granted. If you turn forward to page 152, or on line 107, there's a blessing thanking God for the fact that we still have things to learn. No matter how old you are, how smart you are, how many degrees you have, it's always learning something new. So we'll say a blessing thanking God for learning, and then we'll invite somebody from our community up to teach us a little something they've learned recently. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asot b'divrei Torah, v'ha'arev na Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Torah v'finu u'v'fi amcha b'nei Yisrael, v'nihyeh anachnu v'tze'etzaenu v'tze'etza'ei amcha b'nei Yisrael, kulanu yodei shemecha v'lomdei Toratecha lishma. Baruch atah Adonai hamalamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacharvanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. I'd like to invite somebody now to come up and teach us a little something. Is it you? Okay. There's a group of people who learn together every Shabbos morning. Anybody is welcome to join them. Just let them know that they're interested in this. And about to teach us a little bit of what they learned this morning about the show.
Shabbat shalom. Wow. We'll take only a moment or two, and we had a wonderful discussion this morning about the soul. What the soul is, where the soul goes. We talked afterlife. We spent an hour doing things which I will not even attempt to repeat at this point, but the most poetic part, I think, is what I'd like to share this morning. This is from Psalms, attributed to King David. When the soul is to be recognized and blessed 5 times according to the psalmist. First, when in mother's womb, one blesses God for the soul, thanks God for the soul. When a child emerges from mother, when the child is nursed by mother, as an adult, when one witnesses the downfall of wicked folks, and on the last day of life. This, according to the psalmist, that was not fully satisfying to some of our sages. So there is an answer to this, and that I'd like to share. Just as the Holy One, blessed be He, fills the entire world, so too the soul fills the body. How the soul is like the rest of the world. How the soul is like God. Just as the Holy One, blessed be He, sees but is not seen, so too does the soul see but is not seen. Just as the Holy One, blessed be He, sustains the entire world, so too the soul sustains the entire body. Just as the Holy One, blessed be He, is pure, so too is the soul pure. Just as the Holy One, blessed be He, resides in a chamber within a chamber, in His inner sanctum, so too the soul resides in a chamber within a chamber, the innermost recesses of the body. Therefore, that which has these 5 characteristics, the soul, should come and praise He who has these 5 characteristics. Shabbat shalom.
Nicely done. Thank you for summarizing your hour of learning in just a few minutes. We show appreciation to Dr. Buzz and to Rabbi Schechter and to the whole group and to God for allowing us to learn something new every day. We're on page 154 if you're joining us online. It's on page 111. Kaddish de Rabbanan, the sanctity, the sanctification of our teachers. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'almad, Yibarak, Kirute, Be'amlich, Malkute, Be'chayechon, Be'omechon, Be'chaye, Le'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'av Bizman Kari, Be'ibru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Mevorach, Be'olam, Omei, Omaya, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit haleh, v'yit halal, shemei, v'kudashah, v'riku, le'ela, min kol berakata, v'shirata, tushurechata, v'nechamata, ta'amiram v'n'olam, v'ibru, amen. Al Yisrael, v'al Rabbanan, v'al Talmidehom, v'al kol Talmidehom, v'al kol man v'asmin v'oraita, V'atra Adin, V'di V'kol Atar, Yehei Lahon L'chon Shlamar Rabba, Pina V'chis V'rachamim, V'chayim Harifim, U'zamar V'cher, U'portana Minkodom Abuhom V'bishmaya V'hara V'ibru Amen, Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Tovim Aleinu V'al Yisrael V'ibru Amen. O say shalom b'marav, hu barachamav v'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'ibru. Amen. There are 5 parts of our service this morning. We just concluded part 1. At the beginning of each part, we rise for the beginning of that section. So please rise for the beginning of section 2. We're on page 180. If you're joining us online, we're on page 122.
Baruch she'amar v'haya olam Baruch v'oseh v'reishit Baruch v'omer v'oseh Baruch v'oseh v'mekar Baruch merachem ha'aretz Baruch merachem ha'abriyot Baruch Shalem Zakako Bereyosh Baruch Vayla Dekayam Da'etzah Baruch Modeh Umatzil, Baruch Shemo. Yahidei Olamim, Melech Meshubach Umfar Yad Shemo Agadol, Baruch Adonai, Melech Me'olam V'Yishbachol.
Amen. You may be seated. We read each day, we read the book of Psalms. So we turn to page 194, or on line 141 for this final psalm.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Through prayer, we try to connect to God. We also try to connect to history, to our ancestors who connected to God through different ways, and to think of ourselves as slaves in Egypt, which is a major part of our Jewish narrative, but not the slavery part. We don't dwell on the slavery part. The Torah barely talks about it. We barely talk about it. What we talk about is the escape. What it must be like to let go. What it must be like to let go of the anger that you're feeling. Generation after generation is enslaved in Egypt. The ire that you must feel, the anger that you must feel at the fact that there is no hope for anything in life, the people who are enslaving you, and yet you're able to escape. The sea parts in front of us. What it must be like at that moment to let go of all of that anger. You're never going to get back at those people. You're never going to be able to yell at them and tell them what's what. All you can do is let go and move on. On page 212, or on line 143, is the poem that we sang as the seas parted and we crossed behind Moses and Miriam as they led us out of Egypt and into freedom, into a new chapter in our lives. And in there, during our Siddur, the second paragraph, 4 lines down, is this line, Ozi the Zimrat Yah. We're going to chant it today as if we're reliving that. And if you have something that you're holding on to, something that is affecting your insides and cramping you up in there, let go of it. Take this moment as we sing these words about 4 times. Let go of that anger and feel free from it. Even if it's just for the next 2 hours and you're going to go back outside and be angry about it again. But for right now, let go of whatever it is that's holding you down. Ozi v'zimrat yah.
Ozi v'zimrat yah, v'yehi Yeshua. Ozi v'zimrat yah, v'yehi Yeshua. Ozi v'zimrat yah, v'yehi Yeshua. Ozi v'zimrat yah, v'yehi Yeshua.
A few pages forward on page 218, or online, page 147, a chant, Shochin Ad, God, feel close to me, be close to me, be within my mouth and within my heart.
Yesharim titalan u'divrei tzadikim titpara shokenat ma'aron v'kadosh shemo shokenat ma'aron v'kadosh shemo v'katuv v'ranenu tzadikim Adonai v'yesharim na'amah Tehillah u'dirshon Hasidim tikromam u'lekerem kedoshim titkadash shokenat ma'aron v'kadosh shemo shokenat ma'aron v'kadosh shemo. ולמקלות לבבות, עמך בית ישראל, והנה יפה שמך מלכנו, ובדור ודור, שכן חובתו יצורים לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, להודות להלל לשבח לפאר, לרומם להדר לברך ולעלה ולקלס, על כל דברי שירה ותשבחות, דוד בן ישי, עבדך משיבך, ישתבח שמך למלכנו, למלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ, כי לך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, שיר ושבחה, הלל וזמרה, עוז הממשלה נעצה, גדולה וגבורה, תהילה ותפארת, קדושה ומלכות ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המלך גדול בתפארתו ולהודאות אדון הנפלאות הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך אלפי העולמים.
Amen. If you're able, please rise. We invite Susan and Elliot to join us up on the bima as Kayla leads us in Chatzi Kaddish on page 220. Amen.
Be'aman divrei chutei, be'amlich malchutei.
V'chayet hod yom u'chayet o Beit Yisrael. Ba'adam u'bizman karim v'yimeru amen. Yesh me'rav ha'vorah ve'olam ulam ve'amayah yitvarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpa'al v'yitvorach, yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithalel, v'yithalal, shemei t'kudesham v'yikru, le'elah yimkor v'yachata v'shirata,
Tushbechata le'echata da'avir rabbeah.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Eloheinu melech yotzei or v'moshe oseh shalom v're'et hakol.
Susan and Elliot close the ark, you may be seated. We continue with this third section of our morning service. We're on page 226 or online, page 150.
Ve'hen ke'kishar aleinu b'la'aseh, ve'en golat chamakeinu l'chayei ha'olam haba, efes b'chzekaragu aleinu limot ha'mashiach, ve'en dome lecha, moshienu lechiat ha'metim.
Page 228 or online 151.
El Adon, Adon Amazim, Baruch Kol V'Fikon Neshama, Kodom V'Tugom Maleo, Da'Adon Nazol V'Bimoto, HaMikael, HaYotaku V'Shvete Da'Mekabo, HaMekaba, Zechoto Mishor V'Knei Yitzhok, Be'ezer Rachamim B'fnei Kvodo, Tovim Me'orot Shebarah Eloheinu Yitzhara, V'da'at b'mina u'baskel, Toach u'gvura natan ba'em, Lihiyot Moshe b'kerech le'hever, Me'elim ziv u'mfikim noga, Nadivam v'chol ha'olam, Me'elim b'tzeit Sasim Beloam, Osi Be'ema V'tzom Gona, She'er V'kavod, Notnim L'rishonot, Ola V'rinat L'zecher Malchuto, Aran Hashem Et Shvayim באופנים וחיות הקודש. היי, הלילה, לילה, יא לילה, לילה, יא לילה, 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 יא לילה, לילה, יא לילה, לילה, יא לילה, יתברך מושיענו על שבח מעשה ידיך ואנו ראור שעשית יברך סלע יתברך בצורנו מקינו וגואלנו שורק קדושים כולם אהובים, כולם ארורים, כולם גיבורים, כולם עושים בעינו וירא רצון ונחם. וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה ובטהורה ובשירה ובזמרה ומברכים ומשבחים ומפארים ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים. השם המלך הגדול הגיבור והרוח הקדוש הוא וכולם מקבלים עליהם ומלכות שמיים זה מזה ונותנים ברישות זה לזה להכיש יוצרם בנחת רוח בשפה ברורה ונימה קדושה כולם כאחד עונים יאמרים בגירה קדוש, קדוש, קדוש אדוני צבאות, מלך כל הארץ כבודו. ואופנים וחיות הקודש, ברעשים גדול מתנזים ומצרפים, לעומתם משבחים ואומרים, ברוך מאוד אדוני, כי כה
אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני, יוצא המרות.
Page 238, the idea that there is so much abundant love in the world that we get to be part of it. Ahava Rabba.
Ahava Rabba Avtanu Adonai Eloheinu Melech Gedola V'Tira Kamata Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu V'Avur Avotenu Shebatnu V'Ka Avinu Malkeinu V'Atem Tokechai Ketegonenu Tlamdenu Avinu Arakama Araken Raken Aleinu Keteinu Libeinu Lehavi Ola'asir Lishmoa Alil Moro Lelame Lishmor Velvaso Ulekayem et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha v'Ahava Lehaer einu b'Toratecha Lehavek libeinu b'mitzvotecha Leyacher b'Havenu Le'ahava v'yirah et shemecha V'lo
There's a tradition that those wearing a talit find the four corners of their palace, wrapped around one finger, reminding us of, even though we as people are far apart, we're still united, still one, no matter where we are, who we love. Let's hold that together for the words of Shabbat.
וקראתנו לשופר הגדול, סלע באמת להודות לך, וליחדך באהבה, ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. שמע ישראל. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושליטך בביתך ובלכתך ושוכבך ופניך וקשרתם לאור ידיך, והיו לטוטפות עיניך ובאת על מזוזות בביתך ולביתך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, אל בני ישראל ואמרת ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף ותלתכם והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תעבדו אחריהם ואחריהם אשר אתם זוכרים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
להנדור בדור קיים ושלו קיים ותפיסו לכל המלכותו ואמונתו להקיים. אמת שפהו עלינו לאבותינו, מלכנו מלך אבותינו גואלנו גואל אבותינו, יוצרנו צור ישועתנו, Kodeinu Matzilenu Milam Shemecha, Ein Elohim Zolatecha, Ezrat Amoteinu Atam Eldavon.
We'll continue just a moment back at this idea of letting go, of crossing that Red Sea, of forgetting the past and moving into the future. On page 252, or on page 158, towards the bottom of the words of Michael.
Tehilot Yom Baruch Hu Mevorach, Moshe Unei Yisrael Echanu Shira, Besimcha Rabah Yamru Olam. Mi Kamoka Marim Adonai, Mi Kamoka Edar Bakur, Nora Yehilot Sefer, Nora Yehilot Sefer, Yalai, 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 Shira Hadasha Shibu Gehuri, Leshimcha Asfataya, Yagadu Beit Ubeamru, Adonai Go Leolam Vaed.
If you're able, please rise and prepare for the Amidah, the standing central prayer of our morning service.
Suridai, Umarechat Yisrael, Ufdei Numecha, Yehuda veYisrael, Go'alim Tzvaot Shemo, Gedosh Yisrael, Baruch Adonai, Yah Yisrael.
We'll start the next two pages, 255 and 256 together. That's a moment of personal prayer to look inside. When you're finished with your personal prayer, you once again be seated.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Ha'el Ha'yadol Ha'dibur Ha'nuram, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim Ve'Gomer Ezoker Asher U'Meliko Elohim Le'ma'at Shokah Melech Ozer U'Mashiach Amen. Ezra Tzara, Atah Givor Le'olam Adonai, Le'chayim Atah Mashiach Ruach, Mechakel Chayim Be'ezer, Mechayim Metim Me'acham, Shomer Noflim Ve'Rofeh, U'Matzil Asurim, U'Mechayim U'Natom, V'Shenei Rafa, V'Chamocha, U'Midom Me'ama, Me'Melech U'Matzliach Yeshua, Ve'Ne'eman Atah חיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה המתים. מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וכזה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, נכנסים לעומת סרפים, לעומתם ברוך רומנו. במקומך מלכנו תופיע ונמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון, בקרוב אלינו, לעולם בעת תשכון. תתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים. בעינינו תהיה על ידי דוד משיח צדקך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד טוב לך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד טוב לך. ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש. לשבחך אלוהינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד טוב לך. לדור ודור, נגיד טוב לך. כי אין מלך גדול וקדוש אתה. כי אין מלך גדול וקדוש אתה. ברוך אתה האל הקדוש.
Shalom Aleichem, ve'akol Yisrael, ve'akol Yoshvei Tevel, ve'imru.
If you're still in the middle of prayer, please continue. We conclude this section with the words of Kaddish Shalom on page 306 or online, page 167 online.
Yikara v'ikara shemerava, gama v'rachot v'yam yikmashvote v'tayekonu v'yamukonu v'yeh b'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zbach yarim v'imru, amen. Yehi shmeirava v'vorach, le'olam olam le'amayah, yilmara, yitkarach v'shtabach v'kal v'kava v'yitase v'yitadar 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 v'shemei v'kulisha. Leila mikol b'chata v'shirata prush b'chata v'nechemata daviram v'amad imru, amen. Titkabat zotehon v'motehon b'chol Yisrael kudam v'mod v'ishmaya v'imru, amen. Yehi shlom rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imroma ve'u yaseh shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru, amen.
Page 312 or online, page 168.
Thank you, Lord, Elohim Adonai, ve'en k'ma'asecha, malkutecha malkut kol olamim, u'metzamtecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai od le'moiteh, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Avarakalim, eitiva mitzoneka, et Zion. Tivnei kobod Yerushalayim, tivnei kobod Yerushalayim.
We invite Howard and Dana to come up here and share some words about Caleb. Caleb, come stand right over here.
So I'm gonna let Dana go ahead and read today because, as some of you know, I have a thing going off my eye and it's hard for me to actually read the page today, so.
Kayla, you working? You've done an amazing job today, especially since it has been nearly 2 years since you stepped into a religious school classroom and have had to learn everything virtually. It takes an incredible amount of discipline to stay focused, though we are in no way surprised. This is how you approach everything in life, with passion, focus,
and attention to detail. These are qualities that don't just make us proud, but that make you an exceptional person. You have an incredible spirit that brings joy to those around you. We learned this about you from the time you were a little toddler, coming downstairs in your fanciest outfit. Your great grandma B would be so proud. She always said, dress your best. You never know if today is the day we get invited to a bat mitzvah or a wedding. You always have such a positive outlook. You really don't let too much get you down. Like the time you walked up those preschool steps with a huge smile on your face, despite the fact we had just moved across the country. Even now, you dance through the house while you do a mundane chore. You have a free spirit about you that is admirable and enviable. It shows through in the little things, like when you wake up with a smile each day, bringing a smile to anyone who's near you. And your silly disposition that brings a smile to our faces from the first moment in the morning that we first see you until the end of the evening. Kayla, these are really important qualities. They are only a fraction of even the most important qualities we admire about you. You are a strong, independent, extraordinarily thoughtful, and patient young lady. We see you every day using these strengths in school, at dance, and with your constantly trying new things like crafts or really embracing opportunities to learn. Above all, however, what we admire the most is, at your young age, your ability to pause and recognize that there are things that you can't change. Like you referenced in your speech, like you will reference in your speech, change is inevitable. Most people become frustrated and develop a bad attitude, not you. You recognize the less than ideal situation, accept it, and then adapt. I assure you, this is no easy feat or common quality. I very much look forward to watching you put these pieces together and accomplish whatever it is you choose to do in life. Our hopes and dreams for you are that you continue to work hard and remain patient and positive while you strive and ultimately achieve all your hopes and dreams. May your positivity carry you and those around you to success and happiness. You are a bat mitzvah now, in the Jewish faith and adult. May you continue to grow and learn all that life's lessons offer, but may you always stay true to yourself and enjoy this journey called life. We are so proud to be your parents. You are and will always continue to be a blessing in our life. Kayla, you are an amazing human being. We wish you all the best in your life. We know you will be successful, find love and family. And it is our greatest hope that you take with you these and the many other incredible qualities you possess for the rest of your life and share them with those around you. We love you.
What do you want? What do you want?
The plight of the public here. We'll continue on page 312. If you're able, please rise. I'd like to invite Joshua and Susan and Elliot to also join Howard and Dana and Bila, as in just a moment we pass the Torah through the generations. On page 312, or if you're joining us in the online Siddur, on page 168 still.
ויהי בזו אהרון ויאמר משה אמר אדוני ויפוצו אליך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך כי מציון תצא תורה כי מציון תצא תורה ולבד השמיים ובארץ, כי כל השמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה, ימין נעשה לכל דרוש, רוממו, רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו לאדום רגליו הקדוש הוא. רוממו, רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו להר קודשו, להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
May be seated.
על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
You may be seated. We can close our blue seat to word, and we're about to open up the red Chumash, which you should have with you as well. This is the 5 books of Moses. This is the Torah, plus the extra readings and a lot of commentaries in it. The reading today will start in the 3rd section, this 3rd Torah portion of the morning of the year. We're on page 86. The rabbis, the sages, the teachers from 1,500 years ago or so, they were living in what's now Israel and what's now Iraq, that area in between. They were trying to figure out who initiated prayer. Who was the first one to pray? They were thinking, was it Adam? Was it Adam in the Garden of Eden on the first dark night as the sun is setting? Did Adam start to pray? And they said, no. It was not Adam. I thought maybe it was Eve. Maybe it was Eve, the first person to ever go through pregnancy. The first person to ever feel childbirth, according to the Torah. Was she the one who first prayed to God? No. 10 generations go by and nobody prays. Was it Noah? Was it Noah praying for the rain to end and praying that he would finally be able to get off of this boat that smelled like many animals who had been trapped inside our boat for a year? Was it Noah who prayed? The answer is no. Another 10 generations went. Was it Abraham with his close relationship to God? No, it wasn't Abraham. It was his wife, Sarah. Because Abraham had this direct connection to God. Abraham could talk to God directly. It wasn't prayer. It was just conversation. And his wife, Sarai, whose name is changed to Sarah or Sarah. Sarai has this conversation with God that is a prayer. This conversation from deep within inside of her, saying, please think of me, God. Please, Master of the universe, I am but nothing, but please remember me. The Torah portion we read last week, 5 chapters ago, started by saying Sarah was barren. And here we are at the beginning of chapter 16. If you're joining us somewhere else, we're in Genesis chapter 16, and I'll go through on page 86. And again, it reminds us of who she was and what her plight was. But God remembers Sarah. God hears her prayer. And the parsha is asking you, what are you looking for? What are you seeking? And can you find a way to make that known? Can you find a way to have that conversation, find that prayer that's deep within inside of you? So often we think prayer comes from a book, and it has to be in a foreign language. I don't speak it or read it, and I don't know how to do it, and I don't know how to pray. Leave it to the mystics, leave it to the Sufis, leave it to the people who are able to speak in tongues, leave it to somebody else to go through prayer. And Sarah, according to our teacher, Sarah is the first one in her humility to say, I need to talk to somebody. I need to reach out to the master of the universe. I need to have some sort of conversation. This is where our Torah portion picks up this week, on page 86. The question is, what defines us? For Sarah, for 5 chapters now, she has been defined as barren. And yet this week, next week, she'll have a kid. She's been defined this way for somehow her whole life. That when she was living at her father's house, and then she got married. Even before she was married, she was called barren, as if somehow it was known. And to think of all the pain and turmoil she went through for years and years, seeing experts, drinking potions, whatever it is, for decades. She's 90 years old next week when she's told she'll have a kid. Which I know is outlandish, and maybe the numbers aren't exactly right, but that's not the point. She's lived her whole life knowing one thing to be true, and she finds out later in life that it's not. What is it like to be Sarah in that moment? What is it like to have a fact that you knew to be true for the past year or 5 years or your whole life? You find out that it's not. Something about you that is better, that is deeper, that is greater than what you thought you were capable of. This is the question that Torah really asks this morning. Each morning that we read Torah, each Shabbos morning that we read Torah, we invite 7 people to read from the Torah. We invite 7 people or groups of people to bless the Torah for each of those readings. And so for the first blessing of the Torah, I'd like to call it one of our recent commandments who's come back here just because he likes being in shul. I want to invite up Joshua here. Give us the first blessing of the Torah. I'll have John Hobbs, who's joining us online, say the bracha. I'll call you up there, Joshua, so stand right over here. Vayazor, v'yagen v'yoshilachol ha'chosim bo v'nomar amen. Hakol havu godel Elohim b'Torah. V'imkom kohen yamod v'tikyahu ben chayim v'nidra echana v'shom baruch shatan Torah d'amo Yisrael. B'kedushato Adam habikim al Elohechem v'yimchuchem hayom.
Baruch et Adonai HaBorach.
Baruch le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBorach l'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'charbanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. V'sarai eshet Abram lo yalda lo v'la shivcha mitzrit ushma Hagar v'tomer Sarai el Abram hinena atzarani Adonai miledet bona el shafchati Ulai abanet mimena v'yishma Avram l'kol Sarai v'tika Sarai eshet Avram et Hagar hamitzrit shivchata miketz 10 shanim lashevet Avram be'eretz Canaan v'titen otah L'Avram isha lo leisha, v'yavo el Hagar v'tahar v'tere ki harata v'tekal shgivirta beineha V'tomer, Sarai el Avram, Hamasi alecha, Anochi, Natati shifhati, B'chekecha, V'tereki harata, Va'ekal beineha, Yishbot Adonai beini uveinecha, Vayomer Avram el Sarai, Hine shivchatech b'yadech, Asila hato b'einayich, V'tana ha Sarai, V'tivrat mipaneha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. As your call, Joshua, come stand next to me. The second function is beautiful. We invite Rivka up to read the next section of Torah. We invite grandparents Elliot and Susan Gross to come up here, say a blessing on Torah. Yahamdu Eliyahu ben Abraham Shashan ben Bat Abraham Sheni.
Baruch hu et Adonai Baruch. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Vayed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. וימצא מלאך אדוני על עין המים במדבר, על העין בדרך שור, ויאמר הגר שפחת שרי, אמי זה בת ואנה תלכי, ותאמר מפני שרי גברתי, אנוכי בורחת. ויאמר לה מלאך אדוני, שובי אל גברתך, והטעני תחת ידיה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam notat b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yes, your call, Rivka. The third lady we call up Cheryl to read Torah for us. We invite Susan Elliott to come onto this side, and we'll unmute and spotlight Uncle Rich Gross. Ya'amok Baruch Hayim ben Eliyahu Shoshana Shlishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Amen. Vayomer lo
Malach Adonai, Harba Arbe et Zerecha, Velo Yisafer Morev. Vayomer lo Malach Adonai, Hinach hara violet ben, Vekarat Shemo Yishmael, Kishama Adonai, El Anyech, Vehu Yeh Per Adam, Yado Vakol, Ve'ad Kol Bo, Ve'al Penei Kol Alchav Yishchon, Vatikra Sham Adonai, Hadover Aleha, Ata El Ra'i, Ki Amra, Hagam Halom, Ra'ita, Acharei Ro'i, Aken Karav Be'er Lachai Ro'i, Hine Ben Kadesh Uven Barad, Vateled Hagar LeAvraham Ben Vayikra Avram Sham Beno Asher Yeled Yalta Hagar Yishmael VeAvram Ben Shmoni Shana Veshesh Shanim Valedet Hagar et Yishmael LeAvram.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
And the fourth Aliyah, we call it Rachel Green Smith, also online school spotlight her. And to read the Aliyah, we invite up Rick Muller, who's a newer member of our community who's just moved here. And this happens to be, how did I say it? The 50th anniversary of his bar mitzvah was also on Parshat Lech Lecha. And so he's come back to read Torah, not for the first time, but to honor the fact that it's been 50 years since the bar mitzvah. But he's been here many times since then. And so Kaylee, you're invited back, mark your calendar 50 years from now, definitely to read Torah, but in between, you can come back whenever you like to read Torah. Ta'amod Rachel Bat Sarah Ba'avraham Revi'i, with chapter 17 at the top on page 89.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavora.
Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavora Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher barcha banu mikol hayamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayi Avram ben tishim shana v'tesha shanim. Vayira Adonai el Avram. Vayomer elav ani el Shaddai. Hitalech lefanai veyetamim. V'navriti b'nei v'necha. Yarbe otcha b'mod meod. Vayipol Avram al panav, vaydaber ito Elohim lemor. Ani hinei briti ita, ve'ita le'av hamon goyim, v'lo yikare od et shimecha Avram, ve'aya shimecha Avraham. Ki Avhamon goyim netatika, ifreti otka imod meod, untaticha legoyim umelachim mimecha yetzeu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tachinu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you, Rachel. Just to say a quick Mishaberach for Rick. Mishaberach Avinu Rahim Tzchak Yaakov Sarka Rachel Leah Rech Ed Yitzchak Leivish Ben Abraham Beliva Sha'allah Hayim B'Kol Makom L'Kol HaTorah L'Kol HaShabbat L'Kodot Kol Chachasadim Asher G'mar L'Kol Yom Kivaldo Ad Yom Hazeh Miyom Bar Mitzvah Ad Yom Hazeh הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור אותו ואת כל משפחתו וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיו עם כל אחד ונאמר אמן. How lucky we are as a community to get to bless you, and as you bless us by teaching our students and preparing them for B'nai Mitzvah, and then we get to bless you by thanking you for coming up here on the occasion of your 50th anniversary of Bar Mitzvah. May you go from strength to strength, may you find only joy in our community. And may you come back many, many times to read Torah and have Torah and things like that for us. Amen, amen. And for the fifth Aliyah, John Hobbs will once again read, and we'll call up Sherry Mitchell Zach for the Aliyah. Ya'amdu, Sarah Devorah, Bat Berish, Duvalia, Mendel Tzvi, Ben Elkanah, Shifra, Aliyah, Hamisha.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Barak Leolam. Amen.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Hakimoti et briti, veni uvenecha, uvein zaracha acharecha, adorotam levrit olam, lihiot lecha lelohim, lezaracha acharecha, v'natati lecha, lezaracha acharecha, et eretz megurecha, et kol eretz kanan, la'akuzat olam, v'hayiti lahem lelohim, v'yomer Elohim el Avraham, v'ata et briti tishmor, ata v'zaracha acharecha ladorotam, zo briti asher tishmeru, beni uvenechem, uvein zaracha acharecha, himolachem kol zachar, unamaltem et basar aralatchem, v'hayalot berit, beni uvenechem, uvein shmonat yamim, yimolachem kol zachar l'toratechem, yidlid bait, umiknat chesef mikol benechar asher, lo mizarachahu, yimo, yalid beitcha umiknat kaspecha, v'haita briti, livsarchem livrit olam, Varel Zachar Asher Lo Yimol Et Basar Orlato V'nikrata Nefesh Hahi Me'ameha Et Briti Hefar Vayomer Elohim El Abraham Sarai Ishtacha Lo tikra et Shema Sarai Ki Sarah Shema, Verakti ota v'gam natati mimena lecha bein U'erechtihah v'haita l'goyim, Malchei amim mimena yihiyu, V'yipol Avraham al panav v'yitzchak, V'yomer b'libo, Alvin me'ashana yivaled, V'im sarah, Avatishim shana teled.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tuchenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you, Sherry Mitchell. We got up for the sixth Aliyah, Ilana Sweet. Amod, Ilana Bracha, Bat Pinchas, V'chayashenu, She, Aliyah Shishi.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayomer Avraham El Elohim, Lo Yishmael Yechaye lefanecha. Vayomer Elohim, Aval Sarah Ishtecha, Yoledet lecha ben, V'karata et shemo Yitzchak, V'hakimoti et briti ito, Livrit olam lazaro acharav, Ulishmael shamaticha hine barakti oto, V'hivreti oto b'ma'od ma'od, Shnai masar nesiim yolid, Unatati lagoy gadol, V'et briti akim et Yitzchak, Asher teled lacha Sarah lemoed hazeh, V'shana ha'acheret, V'chal ledaber ito, V'yal Elohim al Abraham, V'yikach Avraham et Ishmael beno, V'et kol yelidei beito, V'et kol miknat kaspo, Kol zachar, V'anshei beit Avraham, V'yamal et basar orlatam, V'etzem hayom hazeh, Kasher diber ito Elohim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tuchenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. We'll say a Mishaberach, a prayer of healing for those in our community who are ill. If you have names to add to this prayer, we'll go around the room and as well as on the Zoom and hear the names of those you're thinking of today who could use healing of their bodies, healing of their souls. Mishaberach, Eloheinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Yoteinu Sarah, Rivka Rachel Leah, Vivarech, Yorpei HaCholim, Menucha bat Necha, Shomzin Rivka, Rivka bat Sarah, Adam ben Chava, Chava bat Chava, Yosef ben Rachel, Moshe ben Fei, Eliezer ben Chava, Moshe ben Yehudit, Yaakov ben Moshe Yehudit bat Sarah Yemenu Tali bat Sarah Tzipora bat Leah Sarah Fega bat Esther Gusha Yehudit Buma bat Sarah Lavi Ari ben Kana Sarah bat Esther Rivka bat Sarah Miriam bat Dori Yosef ben Deborah Baruch ben David Harav Chaim Yaakov ben Pesha Dora bat Gobi Yehudit bat Sarah Yocheb ben Miriam bat Esther Pinchas ben Tzvia Gabriela bat Ayala Ayelet bat Simone Sandy Elson, Gustavo Ramirez, Lee Foreman, John Ogle, David Jacoby, Jessica Jacoby, Bobby Sachs, Cassandra Hosier, Shirley Lefkowitz, Al Sanderson, Vivian Sterling, Abraham ben Chava, Yael bat Gittel, Aaron ben David, Rachel bat Ruth, Penina bat Miriam, Harab Sivia Chana bat Sarah, Leah Chana bat Batya Reina, Israel Abraham ben Fega, Yonatan Reuben ben Rivka, Abraham ben Menashe ben Simcha, Yosef ben Esav, Shema bat Asha, Abraham ben Vida, Bracha bat Miriam, Rivka bat Enya, Sarah bat Esther, Chava Fredel ben Irinoda.
Ani ben başkelele başlayalım. Yapma başladı bu ara Shabbat reise Kava, Victor Basara, Raisa Patrut, Ron Freeman, and Aaron Morgan.
Thanks. Sure. Sure.
Angela Day, Toyota, Bob Russell, Hal, but Kaviva, Russell, but Edith, Katya, Rasha, but Banana, Samantha Carter, Elliot and Doreen Mack, Larry Lewinson, and Robin.
Sure. Steve, online?
Bracha, Michka, Dora bat Yaakov, Miguel ben Joseph, Bracha bat Lela, Yisraela bat Bracha. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Others online? Kola Cholim. Ilan Taylor, Kadosh, Baruchim, Levachim, Alayam, Hapsi, Kama, Rakata, Mishla, Ahem, and Eric, Squat, Sham, Shemaim. Before the Nefesh, put a roof, Betok, Shara, Cholim, Bechazek, the Hoskin, Sokhayam. Shabbat, Hinu, Zok, Revuah, Kabalaba, Hashta, Babel, and Reading Amar, Amen. And one who blessed our ancestors, who listened to the prayers of Abraham and Sarah, and their children and grandchildren, listen to our prayers of healing, of strength. For those in our generation as well. And they know healing of body and healing of spirit. I'll say Amen. Seven Balia, we call up the Avos to say the bracha. The Torah called Kayla to read Torah for us. Ya'amdu, Chaim ben Aram, the Lisha, Udu bracha, Rachleah Shoshana, Aliyah Shivit.
Amen. Abraham, 90 shana,
Behimolo, Besar Arlato, Ishmael Beno, Ben Shlosh Esrei Shana, Behimolo, Et Besar Arlato, Be'etzem Hayom Hazeh, Nimo, Abraham, Ishmael Beno, Bechol Anshe Beito, Yalit Bait, Umiknat Kesef, Me'et Beit Nechar, Nimoru Ito.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam v'tabetameinu. Baruch atah Adonai, notei haTorah. Amen.
Yitkadal, Shemei Rabba. Be'olam tibrach irutei, be'amit malutei, bechar Om Be'echol, U'vayetech U'beit Yisrael. U'bizman kavi, ve'imru Amen. Yehesh Rabba Mevorach, Le'olam le'omaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach v'yishva, Yitpa'ar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh, Yithadar v'yitaleh, V'yithalal, Shemei Tikudashah Richu, Le'ela, Minkol Brachata V'shivata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Ta'amiron Be'amal, Ve'imru Amen.
This is the moment that we call her up as a bat mitzvah. Everything before this was her preparing for this moment. And now we're at this moment where we call her up as an adult in our community, where she says this blessing, this bracha that you cannot say until you are an adult in our community. And it's an honor to be able to call her up in this way. Ta'amo, do you want to do it? Rivka wants to do it because it's special when she got a prettier voice. All right, I'll keep it. Ta'amod, 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 habachura habat mitzvah, malka bracha bat chaim v'du brachana, vaftira chazaka. Malka bracha. Come on, it's you. You're gonna take this seat, give a kiss right there. That's right there, give a kiss. And say these words, Barb.
Baruch et Adonai HaMorach. Baruch Adonai HaMorach L'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Abraham, 99 שנה, והימרו בשר עלתו, ישמעאל בנו, בן 13 שנה, והימרו את בשר עלתו, בעצם היום הזה, ימול אברהם, ישמעאל בנו, וכל אנשי ביתו, כלית בית ומקנת כסף מאת בית נכר, נמורו איתו. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. If you're able, please rise. We now lift the Sefer Torah so we can take a look at it. You may be seated. Our being going to sit up here on the bima. Still in our Chumash, still in our big red book. We're on page 95. It's from the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 27 is where this reading starts. Each week we read a piece of the prophets that seems to tie somehow to what we read in the Torah portion. And this one talks about us in exile in what's now Iran or Iraq, probably Iraq, and it looks like God is hearing our prayers, and the evil Babylonians are being overthrown by the better Persians who are letting us go back from exile back into the land of Israel. The route that we take, that Isaiah is going to show us, the route that we take to go back from what's now probably Baghdad back to Jerusalem is the same route, the same road that 1,000 years earlier Abraham took when he left in this week's Torah portion, when he left his father's house in what's now Iraq and walked his way over to what's now Israel. The same path is used 1,000 years later in the book of Isaiah. And the question that Isaiah asks us is, do you hear God's calling? Do you hear God talking to you somehow? And can we follow that same path? So page 95, and Kayla's going to read for us the blessing before and then the Haftorah and the blessings afterwards.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar niv'im tovim ve'ratzah divreihem han'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah Moshe Abdo Israel Amo Ubindiei Haamet Ba'tzedek Lama Tomar Yaakov Utdaber Israel Isterartaki Me'Adonai Ume'Elohai Mishpati Ya'avor Halo Yadata Imlo Shama'ata Elohei Olam Adonai Borei Ketzot Haaretz Lo Yi'av V'lo Yigav Ein Heker Mitvunato Noten Laya'et Koach U'Elohim U'Tzma Yaveh V'Yafu Ne'arim V'Yigau U'Bachurim Kasho Mikasheru V'Kovei Adonai Yachalim בכורה. יעלו אבן הנשמים, ירוצו ולא ייגעו, ילכו ולא יעבו, החרישו אליי איים ולאומים, יחליפו כוח, ייגשו אז ידברו, יחדיו למשפט מקרבן. מי יהיה ממזרח צדק יגאלו למגרו, ייתן לפניו גויים ומלכים יד, ייתן כעפר חרבו, כקש מגדל קשתו, ידבן יעבור שלום, אך ברגליו לא יבוא, נבעל ועשם, קורא הדורות בראש, אני אדוני ראשון ואת אחרונים אני הוא. ראו אם ויראו קצות הארץ, יחרדו קרבו ויתנו, איש את רעהו יזורו, ולאחיו יאמר חזק, ויחזק חרש את זורק, נחלית ולתיש את הולם העם, אומר לדבק תוהו, ויחזקהו במזמרים לא ימות. ואתה ישראל עבדו, יעקב אשר בחרתיך, זרע אברהם אוהבי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך. ודבר אחד מדבריך, אף לא ישוב ריקם, כי על מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן, שכל דבריו רחם על ציון, כי היא בית חיינו, ולאהובת נפש תושיע, במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני, משמח ציון, בבניך. שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו, באליהו הנביא עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך, במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, אל כסאו לא ישסר, ולא ינהלו עוד אחרים את כבודו, כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכפה נרו, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן דוד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הדברים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ותפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו מוקיעים לה ומברכים אותה יתברך שמך לפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Beautifully done. We'll take this moment to say a special thank you to you, Kayla, for reading Torah and Torah for us. We'll give you more blessings in a moment, but first I'm going to invite your brother to read something for us in English. You can put your red chumash away. If you're in the blue, see your on page 769. Page 769, Joshua is going to lead us responsibly in the power of the word.
Words are like diamonds. They can be things of beauty or sharp cutting tools.
Worry weighs a person down, but a cheerful word brings gladness.
There are those whose words pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise has the power to heal.
A soft answer turns away wrath, but a grievous word stirs up anger.
Like a city broken down without a wall is one whose temper and speech are uncontrolled.
One who is slow to anger is stronger than the mighty. One who is restrained is mightier than the conqueror.
One who guards both mouth and tongue keeps a soul from the great trouble.
Before the word is spoken, we are its master. After it is spoken, the word is our master.
Both life and death are within the power of the tongue, and the youths that use it well shall enjoy its fruit.
Keep my tongue from evil, O Lord, and my lips from speaking guile.
Help me to speak the truth at all times. Help me to speak it with kindness and with care.
Truth is the bridge between heaven and earth, the brightest jewel in the crown of virtue.
Truth is the seal of God. Those who have truth in their hearts have God for their guide.
Speech is one of God's greatest gifts to us. They use it in ways which honor God's name. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being up here. You can go take a seat. Kayla, you can come back up to the beam right here to the microphone. We're going to turn to page 336. If you're joining us online, we're on page 181. The words of Ashrei.
אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יחללוך סלע.
אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו.
תהילה לדוד, ארומים כאל חי המלך, ועמך שמך לעולם ועד.
בכל יום אברכך, ועליו שמך לעולם ועד.
גדול אדוני ומעלה מאוד, ולגדולתו אין חקר.
לא לדור שבת מעשיך, וגבורתך יגידו.
הדר כבוד הודך, ודברי נפלאותיך עשית.
ועזו זרועותיך יאמרו, וגדולתך על ספרנה.
זכר רבתך יביאו, וצדקתך ירננו.
חנון ורחום אדוני, ערך אפיים וגדול חסד.
טוב אדוני רחום, ורחמן על כל מעשיו.
יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
כבוד מלכותך יאמרו, וגבורתך ידברו.
להודיע לבני אדם גבורותיו, ובעוד אדם מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכבודו ובדור.
סומך עליי לכל הנופלים, וזוכר לכל החטופים.
עיניך אליך יסברו, ואתה נותן להם את אכלם בעיתו.
פותח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חרצות.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
קרוב אליי לכל תורה, כל אשר כתוב באמת.
רצון יראה יעשה ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם.
שומר עליי כל העולם, וכל הרשעים להשמיד.
תהילת אדוני ידבר בי, ויברך כל בשר, שם קודשו עולם ועד.
ואמר מעתה ועד עולם. Able to please rise and prepare to put the scepter of Torah back in the ark.
Hallelujah, save Adonai, King and God, Shabbat Devado, Odo Aleret, Veshamayim, Vayarem Kerem Le'amo, Teilah Lecho, Chasidam, Livnei Yisrael, Am Keromo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Mizmor LaDavid, Avod Adonai b'nei, Avod Adonai kavod v'oz, Avod Adonai kavod shemo, Yishlach Avod Adonai be'adat kodesh, Kol Adonai alamayim, El hakavod hir'im, Adonai abaylavim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'hadar, Kol Adonai shorazim, Vayishaber Adonai et zehavano, Vayekidem kemo egel lebano v'sirion, Shemo b'nei. Kol Adonai b'tzelamoteich, Kol Adonai yachil b'imbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yechal yachlot, vayechesov yarod dovechalot, kulo merkavod, Adonai lamavol yasher, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yidei, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom.
May be seated. I mentioned there are 5 parts of the service. We just concluded the 4th part. Before we go going into the fifth part of our service and invite Kayla and Malka Bracha to share with us some words in English.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. I would first like to say a few things. Thank you to my family and friends for sharing this wonderful day with me. I would like to thank my grandma and grandpa for being there for me and for all the times we danced around in the living room. Thank you to my wonderful uncle for all the fun we had. Josh, thank you for being there for me when I need it. I love you more than you could ever imagine. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for all of the love and support on this journey to becoming a bat mitzvah today. Additionally, I know that late Grandma Linda is looking down on me with a big smile on her face. And last but not least, thank you, Rivka, for teaching me every prayer and for countless hours of practice. This week, my Torah portion is Lech Lecha. These are the two words God said to Abraham, which mean get going. But what did God mean when he said get going to Abram? God was telling Abram to leave his homeland and set forth to the land of which he shall show them. Abram is leaving his father's home to essentially become his own person. This Torah portion relates to my life because I, like Abram, am becoming my own person, excited to meet the world. A teaching I would like to take with me from Lech Lecha as I grow would be that human beings should view their place in God's creation with love and awe. This is important to me because when I grow up, whether I make lots of money or not, I will be grateful for what I have and not jealous of what others have. I believe that as we grow, we should also appreciate people for who they are and not for how much money they have or how many pairs of shoes or clothes they have. These lessons can help me become successful in whatever I may choose to do later in life by appreciating what I have and the job that I have. I think this teaching is also very important to being a happy person because if you dwell on what you don't have, you will become unhappy and jealous of others. Another interpretation of my Torah portion is coping with the unknown, and I would like to share what that means to me. As humans, we all form habits, like what time that we wake up each morning and what we eat for breakfast. But change happens, whether we like it or not, big or small. It happens all of the time. These changes can also shift the way we perceive things. You may have experienced it within this past week, day, or month. Sometimes changes can be big and scary, but then we have many new changes that are good, like going back to school or starting a new job. So when I wake up each morning with a smile on my face, I will keep this in mind and try to always remember that each change is really a new opportunity. Shabbat shalom.
Very nicely done. I hope that you're brilliant as you're pretty much done with all the things in your Siddur, almost, and with your Torah reading and your Haftorah and your speech, all the things weighing on you. There's very little left to do in our service. So I want to make sure that I present you with a certificate of Bat Mitzvah. This is a certified that Malka Bracha Bat Chaim Dubrachana Kela was called to the Torah as a Bat Mitzvah Temple at Chaim today, October 16th, 2021, which in Hebrew is the 10th of Cheshvan, 5782. And then there's a line from Torah, Ki lakach tov natati lachem parati al tazovu. I give you this precious teaching. It says, do not forsake it. Hold on tight to this Torah. And it's signed by some of our synagogue leadership. In addition, there are some gifts in here that help you use. They help you bring a little bit of Judaism into your life, whether it's tomorrow and next Shabbos, or years from now, or you go off to college or have a family of your own. These will go with you on your journey. And if they don't fit, just bring the gift receipt back. I'm stuck on a few things right now. One is that today, as I mentioned last night, today is World Food Day. And your family, instead of flowers, has brought in fruits. The fruits are a beautiful front piece for our sanctuary, for our bima. At the same time, they're going to be donated to make sure that those in our community who need get. And not just get the things that are so often handed out, which is often carb heavy and things like that, but rather fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables. So how beautiful your parents are teaching you this. I'm stuck on a second thing, which is that your name is Malka Bracha, which translates roughly to the Queen of Blessings. And to think of what if you lived your life like that? And this is what your speech, what your Devar Torah was about. Is what if you were the Queen of Blessings? What if you thanked God for what you have? What if you helped other people find the blessings in their life as well? What if you were so great at that? Not the Queen of rock and roll, or the Queen of dance, I forget, tap, jazz, ballet, lyrical. Did I miss one? I don't know. All the different modes of dance. Not just the queen of that, not just the queen of makeup tutorials on YouTube, not just the queen of all of these things that you do and that you excel at, but if you're the queen of blessings, that you helped people realize the blessings that are in their life. That's a really incredible thought, that you could do that for people. That you, by being an authentic version of yourself, you help people find the blessings in their life. Not about how much money they have or don't, not about what they're lacking in their life. In fact, they're able to say blessings. And the third piece for me was when your grandparents and your parents and your brother were up here in the Mima. They handed the Torah down from one generation to the next, and it gets into your eyes. And what's beautiful is, first of all, there's 3 generations up here, and that's just how lucky. I look at my kids, and I can't imagine watching my grandkids become a bat mitzvah. How twice in a year, how amazing, how much nachas you should, how incredible that moment is that you get to watch your grandkids become a bat mitzvah. You get to hand them the Torah. But beyond that, your brother handed you the Torah. I know that sibling relationships aren't always super duper easy. And they're complicated because they are in some ways 100% different person from you. And on the other hand, they are the most like you of any person in the world. But what it means for him to hand you this Torah is for him to say, I got these blessings and these gifts on the same bima. I'm going to pass them down to you. I hope that you feel that you find people to pass on that Torah, that teaching to as well. Those are the big 3 ones that I saw. But your Haftorah, I have to take a step back. God is looking for partners. God needs partners. There are things that God realizes are beyond God's limits, and so God needs partners on earth to carry out a plan of justice and kindness in the world. And God tries with Abraham, with Adam and Eve, and it doesn't work, and tries with Cain and Abel, and it doesn't work, and tries with Noah, and it doesn't work. Because each of them was a promise to them, and just to them. And the difference is that the promise to Abraham is not with Abraham, it is not with Sarah. It's with their offspring. And the fact that 1,000 years afterwards, your Haftorah that you read, the last lines of what you read today, Isaiah, who didn't know Abraham, who lived 1,000 years before, that's you quoting, I don't know, was that 1,000 years ago? I don't know, Abel? I don't know. You quoting something from 1,000 years ago as if it's yours. The thing of Isaiah, we're not 2,500 years after Isaiah. And we're still quoting this idea of it doesn't end with us. We pass it down to the next people to make sure that everybody else feels something. Because if you start something and don't teach other people how to do it, it dies with you. Once you teach other people, you instruct other people, then it lives forever. And here we are in probably 4,000 years later, and we're still reciting these words because it gets passed down from generation to generation as your grandparents passed it to your parents, to your brother, to you. I want to give you a blessing up here, not just this and not just this, but Benny, you join me up here. I'm going to give you a blessing also from the Torah. It's a blessing that we gave, that not me, but we gave to you when you were born. It's a blessing that we gave to your parents under the chuppah when they were married. We gave to them when they were born. We gave to your grandparents under the chuppah. We gave to them when they were born, or when they became bar mitzvah, and your great grandparents, and all the way back probably for thousands of years, have been giving this blessing to people at major life cycle events. So may God continue to bless you and protect you. May God's light continue to shine on you and show you grace. May God's face be pointed towards you and continue to show you a lifetime of peace. That we say, Amen. I want to invite your parents to stand up right where they are. Our being to celebrate two mitzvah within 6 months is a unique experience. And so, how wonderful it is, how wonderful it must be to look at your daughter as she has grown, continues to grow, and continues to learn, take mastery of a religion that's been passed down. The people that's been passed down. And Josh, stand where you are. Look at your sister. I know that she's your best friend in the whole world. I know that if you don't use those words right now to describe her, then you will at some point. At some point, you're going to realize that she's the person you turn to when you need certain things. When you need advice, she's going to turn to you and you're going to turn to her. I want to get your grandparents to stand up where they are. Susan and Elliot. And you get to continue to see her growing. She continue to dance through your place. May she continue to dance through your house. And may she find it in her strength, even as she is a teenager, to give you hugs that last 5 minutes long and just hold you for a long time. I want to invite, whether you're here in person or not, aunts and uncles and cousins to stand up. And there's a few online. And if you feel like an aunt or an uncle or a cousin, to stand up. Sometimes people feel like it, but they're not. To think of the people who love you unconditionally, who take care of you no matter what. I want to invite your friends to stand up. And your friends is a large group. There's also your parents' friends and your friends' parents and your parents' friends and kids and things like that. And this extended group that's also online. And if you're watching this in the future, stand up. To think that these are the people who take care of you, whether it's through dance connections or it's fans of yours online. I don't know how it all works. People from school, people from Hebrew school, these are people who look out for you. I hope that you teach them how to be brachot, how you could be the queen of brachot, queen of blessings. But I want to invite your community to stand. If you're just here because you're part of our temple, it's fine community. And Kayla, for you to look at them, no matter where you are, whether you're part of the community or not, whether you go to college or really far away, and you come back 30 years later or 80 years later, or never again, these are still your community. These are still people who take care of you, who care about you, want to make sure that they have your back, that they have the best for you. And together we're all going to say a blessing, thanking God that we're here for this moment. Because a year ago, we didn't know if we'd ever be together for a moment like this. And 6 months ago, we got to 5 and then 3/4 months ago, we got to celebrate with the family. I'm going to be able to be back here at this moment. So I'm actually going to invite the three of you, Dana, Howard, and Joshua, to stand next to your daughter and sister on the bima. We're going to sing this blessing, thanking God for the fact that we've reached this moment. And if you have any kind of sweetness with you, I want you to shower this young lady with sweetness. Do not aim for the eyeballs. Not yet, Sam. I'm going to eat that one. After we say the blessing, shower her with sweetness. If you are beyond like the 5th row, come closer, because not all of you are playing for the Dodgers this year, okay? I understand you think you can throw it from left field back to the catcher, but most of you, if you're anything like me, you barely throw it from the pitcher's bat. So let's say this, brought that together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'eheyanu v'kilmanu v'higiyanu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'eheyanu v'kilmanu v'higiyanu b'zman hazeh. Amen. some candy. Only the good flavors. Now, if everybody else can go back to your areas, we're gonna remain standing. Taylor's gonna lead us in one more prayer here.
I got hit.
We're on page 354. If you're joining us online, it's page 184 for this fifth section. The Musaf Hamidah, the central prayer of this last part of our service, on page 357, or if you're joining us online, page 185.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor Adonai El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Kazei Ahod, Umevid Oved Lebnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Ata Gibor Olam Adonai, Mechayei Meitim, Ata Avraham Be'Hoshia, Mashiva Ruach Umorina Gashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Meitim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Nofevim Verofei Kodim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Milchamot Kama Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Mevit Umechayem, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'nemanat Alakayot Meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei Hameitim. Na'aritzcha v'na'kishcha k'zotzia salvei kodesh המקדישים שמך בקודש ככתוב על יד נביאך וקראת זה אל זה ויאמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו יהודו מלא עולם משרתיו ושואלים זה לזה איה מקום מקום כבודו לעומתם לעומתם ברוך Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael.
Page 398, or if you're online, page 203.
יתקרב שמי רבה, ואמר דברי פיוטי גם לצעקותי וחייכון וביומכון ומחיים לכל בית ישראל, ועגלה וזבח פערים ואמרו אמן. יש מרב המבורך, לעולם עולם לעולם יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלל שבלקודש הבריאות. Lega mi convicata vescirata tuspecata menecamata da verame amavimu. Amen. Yityaval suroton vodon konisek vodamon vishmayamimru. Amen. Yesh lamarava min shemaya vekayim alenu al kol Yisrael vimru. Amen. Vose shalom vimru malu yaseh shalom. Aleinu al kol Yisrael. Amen.
Next page, Ein Elohim. If you're able, please rise and invite us, Shannon Tucker and Michelle Blum, to open up the ark for us as we say the words of Aleinu on page 402. If you're joining us online, that's page 205.
Aleinu l'shameach l'adon hakol, l'adei g'dodam yotzei l'reishim, shelo atzmanu v'haratzon, v'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam kelkeinu kahem, v'gora כי הכתוב בתורתך, אדוני, ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
With the doors of the ark closed, you may be seated. This week, this second week of the month of Shabbat, our community remembers Charles Goldman, George Winterstein, Harry Lax, Matthew Wolf, Morris Ratson, Lillian Sills, Samuel Neustadt, Abe Nelson, Frida Edelman, Jack Jacobs, Jack Lewis Oakham, Leona Edelstein, Sylvan Simowitz, Tommy Marshleon, William Deutsch, William Wolf, Alfred Shapiro, Edith Wolf, Florence Kaplan, Harry Minkus, Irving Letteridge, Jeanette Spitzer, Miles Odoroff, Tilly Sampson, Abraham Bergman, Anne Humphrey Carp, Jack Salzberg, Leonard and Sloan Lewis Rosen, Rebecca Kramsky, Sidney Hidnick, Bessie Klingman, Dorothy Druin, Ethel Sokol, Marvin Rosen, Pincus Paul Cummer, Ann Nelson, Arthur Manis, Elias Kamen, Mary Neistat, Philip Lippman, Salar Rostami, and Samuel Waxman. Other names to add to our list for people who are remembering who passed away at this season in previous years. And I know that there were some people who wanted to share memories today of who they were thinking about. So just a brief memory. Judy, is that you? Yeah, like that.
Yes, that's me. My father, Irving Letteridge, was born in Parisov, Poland, which doesn't exist anymore. But I want to share a short memory about him. He was very serious with me, and he was the vice president of ritual at Valley Beth Israel, and he, very somber and serious. But with Larry, it was a totally different thing. One time they were reading something, and I guess it was from the Haftorah or from the Torah, and they came upon "Oh hell," and Larry apparently said that my dad laughed, and because he says "Oh hell," and he pointed to it. So I thought it was once in the book. Okay, I didn't know "Oh hell" meant pensive meaning. It's everywhere. So whenever we hear "Oh hell," it's my dad saying, yeah, it's about tender meaning, and it's my dad saying hello to us. So it's a very nice memory for us.
That's very sweet. The word "Oh hell" means tent.
Yeah.
The word tent is mentioned, which is a lot, especially when God talks to Moses in "Oh hell Moed," in this special tent. That I think there's a little hint from your dad, a little hello from your dad. Thank you, Judy and Mary. Barbara, did you want to share?
Sure. First, I just wanted to say Yasher Koach to Kayla. She did a beautiful job. Mazel tov to you and your family. I'm very proud of you. My dad was Al Shapiro. He grew up in New York. And when he was 18, he was stationed at Camp Polk, Louisiana during World War II. And Walter Winchell used to say, if you have a son overseas, write to him. If you have a son at Camp Polk, Louisiana, pray for him. He said that the only thing scarier than the mosquitoes were the racists. He was horrified at the treatment of Black people, but he also told me that they didn't like New Yorkers. Everybody was, if you were from New York, you were a New York Jew, whether you were Italian, Irish, Puerto Rican, and it affected him deeply and it stayed with him his whole life. He was a dry cleaner and a tailor, and our first store was in the city on Slauson and Overhill. It served the affluent white community of Ladera Heights and the affluent Black community of Baldwin Hills. And we belonged to a little synagogue down the street, which happened to be the same one Joyce talks about all the time. I was a year behind her and had about the same experience she did. Anyway, I would attend services there in the morning, and then I'd walk back and come to work in the store. One day I came in and my dad was waiting on a beautiful, elegant Black lady who happened to be Mrs. Willie Davis. And she used to talk to him about baseball and Willie and the Dodgers, and she was very kind. And at the same time, another woman came in who wasn't so elegant, and she was white. And so I went to help her, and she kind of held on to her clothes and she pointed to my dad. She wanted to talk to him, and which wasn't unusual. People would come in and want to talk to him about tailoring or a stain or something. So he came over to help her, and she said, I have a question for you. Do you clean the white people's clothes with the black people's clothes? And my dad, he didn't miss a beat. He said, well, it doesn't matter because I won't be cleaning your clothes anymore. And when she left, I said, Pop, do you think she learned a lesson? And he said, no, you can't teach people like that. They never change. And then he looked at me and he said, the lesson wasn't for her. The lesson was for you. So I always remember that. I didn't have a lot of years with him, but he taught me a lot. I loved him very much, and I think about him every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, for making me cry. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Is there anybody else who wanted to share? I know some people share during the week when it's a smaller crowd, not everybody else. Okay.
This is the 14th year I've played with my dad and but I talked about him at Easter. So just a short, my dad was like a avid baseball fan, and we actually lit his candle Thursday night, 8-5. And we were there, and Benjamin and I were jumping up and down, and my mom's like, they're gonna win because we just lit Daddy's candle. And so it was just, my dad's with us every single day. And it's just, I always feel him when I'm here. This was his home, and yeah, thanks.
Thank you. For all those who are in a period of mourning, or if you're observing a yard site, you're welcome to rise. If you're thinking about somebody and they're looking in your heart today and you miss them a lot, you're welcome to rise. We're on page 410 or online page 207. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shalei Rabba, Alma, Yurak, Yute, Yamit Malkute, the Haye Kom, Yom Kom, the Haye Kom, Beit Israel, Ba'adallah, Mizman Kari, Vimru, Amen, Yehei Shmei Rabba, Korach, Lelam, Amen, Omayah, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitka'ar, Yitramam, Yitkaseh, Yit Hagar, Yit Alel, Yit Halal, Shemei, Yipurusha, Ridiku, Lehema, in Kol, Birkata, Veshirata, Tush Bechata, Vechamata, Ta'amiran, Me'alma, V'imru, Amen, Yehei, Shalama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu, V'al Yisrael, V'imru, Amen, Osei Shalom, Yimamah, Hu Yasei Shalom. Alleluia, Holy Israel, Amen. Be seated. I want to thank you all for being here online and in person. It's amazing that we could be here to celebrate Taylor. We didn't have to postpone it a year. We needed to do it right when it's supposed to be. Positive to you and to your whole family and extended family. Right after services, we'll go into Spiegel Hall, where we'll have a little notch. So thank you very much, Abigail family, for providing that for us. And tonight at 7:30, those who want to join, our intern Rabbi Rachel will be leading Havdalah. It's like 5 or 10 minutes joining on Zoom. It's lovely. Tomorrow morning, I don't remember all this. Tomorrow morning at 8:30, we'll be back in this room and online for Shacharit services. And a week from tomorrow, we have this event where we're opening up our garden, showing everybody our brand new renovated garden. It is a little bit treacherous. It's down a dirt hill, so if you are planning on coming, you'll have to sign pages and pages of waivers. But I recommend wearing, not heels, whatever walking shoes. It's not so bad. And then there's gonna be a little programming that day. And then a couple weeks later is Mitzvah Day. There are a lot of things going on for Mitzvah Day, but and not that one is more important. They're all amazing. We're collecting things, we're giving to people in need. All of the things are very good. But if you want to participate in that, that's great. In addition, there's a blood drive that day, and the stock, that's right, that's the wrong word. The supply in our area and nationwide is very low right now. There have been far fewer blood drives in the last year and a half, and the supply is very low. So if you are able to donate blood, or if you know somebody who's able to donate blood, to give a half hour to an hour of your time to come here, give blood, get some cookies out of the deal, maybe a piece of lox, I don't know, whatever else we have here. We'll make sure that you feel the love of what you're doing to give back to the community, to give back to those who need it most. Benny, thank you very much for being with us today. To our Torah readers, Cheryl and John and Rick and Rivka, and of course, Kayla, Abigail. Thank you so much, Yasher Koach. And we're going to conclude now with the word, with Adon Olam. We're on page 200. In our book, it's 412. If you're online, it's page 211. Adon Olam. They're negotiating which Adon Olam. Rivka, do you have a favorite word? All right.
Here we go.
Salve,